In today's crochet tutorial, you'll learn how to make this gorgeous top that features an eye-popping wave design. It's fully customizable to your size, super easy to make, and even more fun to wear. I love showing it off at the lake, the beach, or even underneath a jacket for a more polished look. One of my other favorite pieces to pair this crop top with is the boho kimono cardigan from Betsy. I'm in love with the semi-sheer style of this cover-up, and I'm also obsessed with how soft and lightweight this is. The fringe edges are so playful, and the unique bohemian print will catch everyone's eye. Get your very own Betsy boho kimono cardigan today.
Hi everyone, today I'll show you how to make this crop top. I used crochet thread size 10 or 1 and also a 2.5mm hook for this project. So in this tutorial I made a size small, but again you can use whatever yarn you like, whatever hook size, and whatever size you like. I'm just going to show you how to make the pattern and then you can go ahead and make your own top. But in the event that you want to use this crochet thread that's size 10 with a 2.5mm hook, you would just go ahead and follow the exact same pattern that I made here. So we make this pattern by first making the front side, and then we make the back side, and then we attach both of them on the side seams, and then we finally finish up by creating the straps. So this pattern, to begin, you want to make multiples of 19, and this is what it will look like. So this is a multiple of 19, and this is a multiple of 19, and so on. So every scalloped edge is a multiple of 19. But you want to make sure that when you're making your initial chain, you want to make it a little bit longer than your measurement, because as you can see, it does scallop, and so it takes away some of that length of your initial chain. So how you want to measure is go ahead and measure your bust, and then you divide it by 2 so you can make the front panel and then the back panel. So my bust is 32 inches, so you can see here that this should be, so right now this is 14, but it does stretch, and when I stretch it, it goes to about 16 inches, which is half of my bust size. So this thread does have some stretch, so you will have that flexibility. Again, feel free to use whatever thread or yarn you like with whatever hook size. I'll just show you how to make the pattern so you can go ahead and start making your very own top. So when I made this top in my size, which is a size small, I created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multiples of 19, and that totaled to 114 inches. So when I made that initial chain of 114 inches, it did go over my measurement of 16, but that's okay because, like I said, since it scallops upwards, it takes away some of the length. So you want to make sure when you're making your initial chain, you go longer than your actual measurements. So if you want to follow my pattern for the small, go ahead and make 6 multiples of 19, which is 114. But for this tutorial, since I'm just showing you how to make the pattern, I'm just going to do 3 multiples of 19, which is going to be 57. So I'm going to go ahead and start chaining 57. Again, this is just a sample, so you would want to follow your sizing. So after making your chain multiples of 19, for the first row, you are just going to go ahead and create a single crochet into each one. So you're going to chain up 1, and then into each chain, starting from the second chain from your hook, you're going to create a single crochet. And you're just going to go ahead and place a single crochet into every single chain until you reach the end. Alright, so I finished row 1, which was placing a single crochet into every single chain in the foundation row, and my work here is a little bit twisted, but that's okay because it's going to straighten out as we go along. So to start row 2, you are going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and flip your work. This chain 4 is going to count as your first treble crochet. In the very first chain, you're going to place an additional 4 treble crochets. So for a treble, you're going to yarn over twice, insert your hook into that first chain, grab your yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there's your second treble crochet. You want to have a total of 5. That includes the chain 4. So right now we have 3, 4, and 5. So technically we made 4 trebles, but with the chain 4 in the beginning, that counts as 5. So now we're going to make 9 treble crochets. The first one will be in the chain immediately after the 5 trebles. So into the next chain, place 1 treble crochet. Then you're going to skip a chain, and in the second one, you're going to place your second treble. Again, skip a chain and treble into the one after. And you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 9 treble crochets, counting the one that we made directly after the 5. So here's the first 5 here. And then this was the first treble right after it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to count until you have 9. Again, do not forget to skip a chain in between. So that's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. So far we have our 5 trebles in the beginning, and then in the next chain right after we started our 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now after making your 9, again you're going to make a total of 5 trebles in one chain, and you are going to do that immediately in the next chain right after. So in the next chain after your 9th treble, you're going to place 5 trebles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now in the next chain, you will again be placing a total of 5 trebles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see the pattern is already beginning to curve. So after placing your last five trebles, again you will be creating the series of 9 treble crochets. And to make the first one, you're going to place it in the chain directly after that 5. So 1, and everything else after that will have a chain 1 skip. So that's 1, skip a chain, 2, skip a chain, 3, skip a chain, 4, and you're going to keep repeating trebles and skip until you have a total of 9 trebles. So this is our 5th one. This is 6. Seven, 8, and 9. So after your 9th treble, you're going to be placing 5 treble crochets in the next chain. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the next chain, again, you'll be placing a total of 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to make your 9 trebles again, with the first one being directly after the 5. That's 1, skip a chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now to finish up this row, you will have 1 chain left, and you will be placing a total of 5 treble crochets there. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that completes row 3. So you can see that our initial chain did indeed get shorter because it curves and scallops. So you want to make sure that when you make your initial chain for your measurement, you go longer than what you actually need. So that was row 2, and that is going to be our first repeat row. So this pattern only needs 2 rows that repeat, and that was the first one. So now the next row, which is row 3, you're going to chain 1 and flip. And here you will be creating front post single crochets into every single post. So after chaining one, you're going to do a front post single. So you're going to sink your hook right behind the first post like this and come back up. You're going to pull your yarn and single crochet. Again, front post single into the next. And then just continue placing your front post single crochets all the way across. You're not going to be chaining anything. You will not be skipping any post. You will be placing a front post single crochet into every available post. You want to make sure when you're coming up to the end here, you do not forget that first chain 4. You want to make sure you place a front post single crochet into that as well. And here's the back of the project. Alright, so after finishing row 3, which was just a simple return pass of front post single crochets, you're now going to repeat the previous row. So again, you're going to chain up 4, and this is going to count as your first treble. You're going to flip, and then in the very first chain, we're going to be placing a total of 4 treble crochets. So since we made front post single crochets, you're going to have 2 sets of chains you can go into. This is the front one, which we're going to avoid, and if you flip your work a little bit towards you, you'll see that there are posts or chains back here that you're going to go into. So you want to make sure you go into the ones on the back, because that's what's going to give your top a nice 3D effect. If you go in the front, you will not have that effect. So after chaining 4, you find the first chain, which is right here, and you're going to be placing a total of 4 treble crochets. Let's do that again. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with that first chain 4, you have 5 treble crochets. Now you're just going to repeat the pattern from the second row, and you're going to be doing your 9 treble crochets, with the first one being in the chain immediately after the 5, and everything else gets a skip chain. So that's 1, skip a chain, 2, skip, that's 3, skip, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So after you have your 9, again in the chain immediately after the 9th one, you're going to be placing 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After your first 5, you're going to go directly into the next chain and place another 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, That's 4 and 5. Now after that, you're just going to do your 9 trebles again. Again, the first one goes right after. So that's 1, and then everything else gets a skip chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. As always, after your 9th one, you're going to go directly into the next chain and place 5 trebles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After that, you're going to go into the next chain and place 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now go ahead and make your 9 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then in your very last chain you're going to be placing your 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this is what we have so far. You can see how it's starting to bend. Now for the next row, you're just going to repeat row 3, which was again a chain 1. You flip your work and you're going to do a front post single crochet into every single post from the previous row. Again, when you reach the end, do not forget the first chain 4 of the previous row. So here's what the back of our pattern looks like, and here's the front. So now what you're going to do to continue your top is you're just going to repeat rows 2 and 3 until you reach the length of the front of the top that you like. So you're just going to be making this straight part right here. Right here. And then I'll show you how to do this decrease later, but you would just want to continue to repeat rows 2 and 3 until you reach a length that you like. So this is going to be from the bottom of your armpit to however long you want the top. So mine's a little crop top, so I did not do that many rows. I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 rows of the pattern before I did my decrease. So depending on however you want to make yours, and if you want to follow mine using the same thread and hook size, I did make 14 of the repeat rows. So of course I did this first row of single crochets, but then I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 rows. So go ahead and just continue that until you get your desired length and height, and then I'll show you how to do the decrease top. So now I'll show you how to make this decrease part, which is going to cover the rest of our front. So after you reach your initial height, I'm just going to stop here for the sample. You're actually just going to go ahead and chain one and cut. So again, end on a front post single crochet row. So depending on the size and length you want, always end on a front post single crochet row. So after you do that, you're just going to go ahead and chain one and cut off your yarn. Now to make this decrease part, we're just going to reattach our yarn to wherever we want it to decrease. So you want to put it up to your body and see where you want. So this was the front panel of my top. So it started here, and I decided to decrease after the first 19. So I decreased, I did this 5 treble crochets here, and I inserted my yarn in the first treble crochet of the next 5. Okay, so if this is the front of my top, this is the back already, I just skipped the first 19 and inserted my yarn right here. Again, it's gonna be different based on your body and preference, but if you're following my pattern and you're making the size small, just decrease after the first 19. So to show you how I did that, so I cut off my yarn, and this is the front of my top. So I'm going to skip this first 19 right here. I'm going to skip the first 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that means in the 20th one, I'm just going to insert my hook there so I don't forget it. And that's going to be immediately on top of the first 5, I'm sorry, immediately on top of the second set of 5 trebles that you made right here. Okay, so I'm going to prep my yarn. Just going to go in and make a slip knot. And I'm going to pull it through. And then prep for your treble. So you chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're just going to repeat the pattern from here. So that's your first treble. So again, in that same chain, make 5 more trebles. I'm sorry, 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from here, you're just going to continue with your 9 trebles, 5 trebles, 5 trebles, 9 trebles, until you reach the exact same measurement on this side. So this is where the front is. Again, so for the last one, I just skipped 19 at the end. So I skipped 19 at the front, skipped 19 at the end, so I'm going to end up right at the end of the first 5 trebles right here. So I'll show you how to do that in case it's confusing. So again, I skip this. Now I'm going to start my 9 trebles. Again, go immediately into the chain after it for your first one, and then skip everything else. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and right now we have reached the end. Realistically, when you're making your top, you're gonna continue this pattern a little bit longer until you reach the end where you want to stop. But for this sample, we already reached the end. So after that 9th one, of course, I'm just going to place my 5 trebles as if I'm ending this row already. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you can see we didn't do a true decrease, we just cut the yarn and then just attached it to the middle portion. So now for the next row, you're going to do the exact same thing that you've been doing all along. You're just going to chain 1, flip, and do your front post single crochet to every single post from the previous row. So nothing has changed. The only thing that we did is we shortened the pattern a little bit by attaching it to the middle part, and this is the part that's going to cover the rest of our breasts and chest. So you can make this part however long or short you want or need it to be. Just make sure that you just follow the pattern that you've been doing all along and you wouldn't mess up in any way. So I'm just going to complete my return pass here of front post single crochets. Make sure you never forget this very first chain 4. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat that until you get your desired height. So for mine, for the small, I did 2, 4, 6, 8 total rows for the top part. And again, I always end on the front post single crochet row. So however long you want it, go ahead and just continue until you get to your size. So for me, I did 2, 4, 6, 8 rows. So now that you've completed the front part of your top, you're going to go ahead and make the back part. The back part is the simplest part because you're just going to repeat the first part of your front top. So again, for me, I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 rows. So what you're going to do for the second panel, you're just going to make your first initial chain number. So whatever number you started with your chain, you're going to make it again. You're going to do the row of single crochets, and then you're going to complete or start your repeat rows. So for the back, since I did 14 in the front, I wanted to match it, so I also did 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. After I did that initial chain and single crochet. So go ahead and complete that. It's just going to be a straight panel. We're not going to decrease in any way. Just make it to match the front part. And then I will show you how to attach the front and back sides together. And you're going to repeat that chain 4 slip stitch to the bottom of the 5 trebles until you reach every single row of your top. So basically this is where I seamed mine. So I just did a slip stitch, chain 4, slip stitch to the bottom of the 5 trebles, chain 4, slip stitch to the bottom of the 5, slip stitch, chain stitch, chain 4, slip stitch to the bottom of the 5, and then chain 4, slip stitch to the bottom of the 5 until I reach the top. So I'm going to pretend I just did that here, that I kept chaining 4 and slip stitching. So now I'm on my final chain 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to slip stitch to the very corner chain. So I'm just going to find that corner chain right here, and I'm going to find it in the back, and I'm going to place my final slip stitch just like that, and then you're going to chain 1 and cut. And so now your 2 sides are put together. So now you want to repeat that with the other side. So again, you still have right sides together, and let's just repeat that on the other side. So prep your yarn with a slip stitch at the end. So insert your hook at the bottom of the chain 5, bottom of the treble 5, and then do the same in the back at the bottom of the treble 5. Pull your yarn through, and you're just going to chain 1 to secure it. Then you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert your hook at the bottom of the treble 5 right here, bottom of the treble 5 in the back, and you're going to slip stitch. And you're going to continue to repeat chaining 4 and slip stitching to the bottom of the treble 5 until you get to the end. So now you pretend you're at the end and you're going to chain 4 one last time, and you're just going to go into the very corner stitch of the pieces. So there's the corner stitch of that and the corner stitch of this, and you're just going to slip stitch, chain 1, and cut your yarn. So now your pieces are together, and if you turn it right side forward, you have this, or you have a much larger human-sized version that looks like this. See, there's the seams, and there's the seams. So now we're gonna make the straps, and that's gonna be the final part of this top. So as you can see here, the strap is gonna come from the very corner of the top part of our top. So to figure out where that's gonna be in the back, you're gonna flip your design to the middle, and this is where we seamed it right here. And if it's coming from the top right here, we want to make sure that it ends in the same place on the back side. So remember when we made the top, we skipped the first 19, so that means we're gonna connect this strap by skipping the 19 going this side. So if I'm looking at my sample size, I'm going to turn it to the side. Again, here I skipped the first 19, so I'm going to skip the first 19 here and insert my hook at the end of this first treble crochet design. So again, grab your yarn, prep it with a slip stitch, and you're going to insert it in that chain right there. So you want to make sure you still go in the back, and then you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to chain 1. So then you're going to measure how long you want your straps. So for me, I made my straps a total of 75 chains. So you put the top on and you measure how long you want it, and then you make the corresponding amount of chains. So for this sample, we're just going to make 20. So we already chained up 1, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Then you're going to find the front of your top right here in the corner, and you are going to slip stitch to the corner. So I've chained 20, you're going to slip stitch to the corner, just like that. And then you're going to go ahead and create a border right here along the top, okay? So how you're going to do that is after slip stitching there, you are going to go into the first post right here, the side of this first post, and you're going to place 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to find this space, this little space right here, that's going to be those single crochets that we made in the pattern, and you're going to place 1 in there. Again, you're coming up on the post here, so you're going to make 4 along each treble crochet post. 2, 3, 4, and then when you come up on the single crochet row, you are going to single crochet 1, like how we did here. Okay, so we're coming up on our final part here. Here's a single crochet space, so I'm just going to put 1 single crochet. And then to make this border a little more stable, you're just going to go into the very first chain of the design. So look, we just did the top part right here. You're going to find the first chain of the body, and you're just going to slip stitch into it. Just 1 slip stitch in that first chain. Now you're going to turn your work. You won't be chaining anything. You're going to skip that slip stitch, and then you're going to go in and place a single crochet into every single crochet that you made along the top. So here is that slip stitch. Go ahead and place a single crochet in that slip stitch. And then now you've reached the chain length. What you're going to do is also place a single crochet into every single chain on the strap. When you reach the end here, where your chain is coming out of, you're just going to slip stitch into that. And then you're going to chain one, and you can cut off your yarn. So now you made the strap for your top, and you also created a little border along the edge here. So now you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So again, we're going to match it up. So we came and skipped 19 here for the front, because this is where the strap's going to come out of. You find your, oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. So again, we're going to match it. So we skip the 19 here. So that means we're going to skip 19 here, and we're going to attach our yarn to the first treble crochet, that row, which is going to be right here. So then again, prepare your yarn with a slip stitch. Then you're going to pull through and chain the same amount of chains as you did for the other strap. So for me that was 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then when you reach the corner of the front top, right here, you're going to slip stitch into the corner chain. Just like that. And then you're going to come up on the treble posts. So again, in the treble post, you're going to make 4 singles. 2, 3, 4. You're going to place 1 single crochet at the bottom, which corresponds to the single crochet row. Coming up on a post again, place 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to come up on your final single crochet row. Right in the corner, you place 1 single, and then you are going to place 1 slip stitch at the very bottom, or the right where it turns, just 1 slip stitch. Then you're going to turn your work, and you will not be chaining anything. You're going to skip that first chain, which is a slip stitch, and into the second one, go ahead and place singles all the way across and even along the chains. Don't forget that slip stitch right in the corner. So then just continue this until you get to the very end, and you're just going to slip stitch back into the back part. So then when you reach the bottom again, almost there, I'm just going to place one more single here, and then you can just slip stitch back into that same chain that you started from. You're going to chain one and cut, and that is the final part of your top. So what we did here was we made this little mini version. But then if you look at the full-size version, you have something that will look like this. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this pattern. I'd like to see what you make and how your top turns out. So don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.